Hello, wrestling fans, and welcome to the latest edition of the Weekend Wrestle Podcast, episode 268. The Maxon Brothers here with you. I'm Nate. That's Aaron.
Hello.
And we are continuing our series on the Clash of the Champions. This week, Clash of the Champions 22, January 13th, 1993, from the Mecca in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Before we get into that, do we want to get in the Wayback Machine?
It's up to you. I mean, we can. I have the songs and the movies.
I kind of have.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I kind of have guesses for at least the songs, and maybe the movies. One of the movies I'm gonna guess is because of one of the songs that I'm gonna guess. But
all right. Well, let's do the movies first.
Okay.
Which one do you think's number 2?
The Bodyguard.
No. And it's neither one of them is The Bodyguard.
Well, fuck.
I know that's your favorite movie of all time, but that is not either one of the movies. The number 2, both movies are boring. Like, they're popular
for
movies.
For the record, folks, my favorite movie of all time is Kill Bill Volume 1 and 2. It's not The fucking Bodyguard.
All right, well.
But anyway.
In 1992 it was. But neither one of the top movies are The Bodyguard, but both of them are boring movies that people seem to like for some reason, and I don't understand it. The number 2 movie. Oh, good.
So it's not. I was gonna say my guesses were The Bodyguard and Aladdin, but I guess that's
no.
Both of them are.
I like both those movies. They're not my favorite, but the number 2 movie is Scent of a Woman with Al Pacino.
Everybody. Well, I was just gonna say. Also, way too many people back then thought it was funny to go hoo-ah, hoo-ah all the time.
Hoo-ah.
Like, it's like once you've done it 3-4 times, it's not funny anymore.
Yeah, that was the 92 Get Her Done. Like, when Get Her Done was a thing, it's like I didn't want to do a good job at work. Typically, I'd want to go in it. Yeah, typically I want to go in every day and I want to bust my ass and I want to make things happen. But while Get Her Done was going on, I'm like, I'm gonna half-ass it because I don't want somebody else get her done. And then the number 1 movie, it's another movie that people quoted too much, and it was A Few Good Men.
Yeah, just go back to 1993 and everybody's just telling you, hoo-ah, you can't handle the truth.
Yeah, hoo-ah.
You can't handle the truth.
Handle the truth.
You want me on that wall.
Me on that wall. You need me on that wall. Jesus Christ.
Hoo-ah.
Hoo-ah. You want me on that hoo-ah. You need me on that hoo-ah.
You can't handle the hoo-ah.
You can't handle the hoo-ah. Makes you wonder how many. What are we? I said 92. We're in 93, right?
Early, yeah, we're like only 2 weeks into 93.
Yeah, January 93. Makes you wonder how many guys climax. They were like, hoo-ah.
Oh, man.
But the number 1 song is close to what you thought. And it's one of those songs that's like, this song's bigger than the movie. And it is I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston. That song's still rocking it. And everybody
was like
And the thing that pisses me off the most about it is I'm not a huge Whitney Houston fan. Okay,
Mhm.
I think she's kind of overrated. But everybody's like, "Oh, I Will Always Love You" is that Whitney Houston's best song. It's like that's Dolly Parton song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And she did it so much better.
I knew it was going to be number one just because I don't know, honestly, with modern music, I don't keep up with charts anymore like I did when I was in my teens and 20s, because once you hit your 30s and 40s, you don't keep up with modern music charts because you don't listen to a lot of modern music. You kids are going to find that out as you get older. But the reason I knew Whitney Houston was still going to be number one is because I don't know if the record still stands, but I know at this point, that's in 92, 93, that song set the record for longest running number one on the Billboard charts.
Fucking song, it wouldn't die, man.
Yeah. But she like beat Elvis or something. I don't remember what it was, but yeah. So I knew she was and then I have no idea what number two would be. I have a couple of
It's
guesses,
funny.
but
It's funny because like the number one song in America, "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston. The number two song in America, "Rump Shaker" by
yeah.
Anderson Effect.
All I want to do was a zoom, 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 and a
Zoom
boom,
zoom and you
boom.
boom boom. It's one of my favorite Chappelle skits is like trying to pick up chicks in the 1990s, and he's like, "Oh, come on, baby! All I want to do is zoom 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 and you boom boom." Sure. No, I mean
Yeah.
it's a good song. That
Yeah.
song will come on my
This is
Spotify shuffle, and I won't change. Like I'll
no,
never
no,
put
no,
up.
yeah, me neither. That like fucking Rump Shaker and H Town knocking the boots. We actually were watching, the wife and I were watching a game show the other day, and they had something like the show's a trivia show, but like the theme of that particular episode was, it was like everybody that was competing was singles. They were all single people.
Yeah.
So then, the host, of course, is like, the host of the show is Joel McHale. So of course he's making like jokes about like, are you thinking about hooking up with this person after the show or whatever, like matchmaking. But it cracked me up because one of the dudes actually was like, yeah, man, I need to get a date going. I ain't knocked the boots in a long time. And I laughed because I was like, I ain't heard nobody say knock the boots in a while. but
What
but
show is Joe McHale hosting now?
it's called the 1% Club.
I'm gonna have to watch it. That dude's funny.
Yeah, I like Joel McHale a lot.
It's a joke. Yeah.
Yeah, I heard that person
I
say
do.
knock the boots. I was like, I ain't heard knock the boots since fucking the 90s sometime.
Yeah, it's like so. Like I don't know. It was just the four things together, like a crazy combination. Few Good Men,
It was
Scent of a Woman, I Will Always Love You, and Rump Shaker.
it's like hoo-ah, zoom, 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 and a
Hoorah.
boom, boom. It was also
You
funny at
want
this
me on
point.
that boom boom. You need me on that boom boom.
Just shake your rump. Um, it was also funny at this time
You
in
can't handle the boom boom.
the you
Yeah,
can't handle the rump. Um, it was also funny at this time, like when rap started becoming, like hip hop started becoming more mainstream. It was funny to have to hear like Casey Kasem be like, and number two this week, Rex in Effect with Rump Shaker. Like just because it's I don't know, it's just
Yeah.
funny. And I have to
Um.
hear like
Um.
here's DOS effects. We want effects.
And then I don't know we're gonna get into it. And it's funny though because like um Jen she'll put up with like old wrestling, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been going through and watching. I started it and I fell off, but I'm getting back into it. And it's something I want to do later on. I've talked about it where I want to do like the best 100 matches of pay-per-views in the 90s, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And she was off doing whatever. She came back in. I was watching WCW um, Wrestle War 91, and she was like, "What is this?" I'm like, "Oh, this is Wrestle War 91." that's on, and she's like on her phone, but she keeps kind of looking up. She's like, babe, I don't mind if you watch old wrestling. I just don't want to watch this old wrestling. I'm like, okay. So, and she had said that once about something I was watching from like 87. I don't remember what it was. So she's not like a big fan of wrestling pre like 1995.
Apparently not.
Okay. Yeah, which is fine. Whatever. She's not even a huge wrestling fan at all. I just appreciate that she doesn't mind me watching it.
Right, right.
Well, she laughed at one thing and said something that was really funny. So I was like, I won't watch this old wrestling, but I've been chronologically watching WCW since they took Raw off of Peacock.
Yeah.
And they haven't put any of it back on Netflix yet. So I was like, I'll watch old wrestling, but I'll still watch WCW. And I'm in '99, and Master P just showed up, and Mean Gene was doing the press conference for Master P, and she laughed because Mean Gene was like, "Here is Master P, the 11th highest paid musical performer in the United States, known for such hits as Remember My Homies." And she was like she laughed when Mean Gene said, "Remember My Homies." And then they went into a match with the West Texas Rednecks, and Barry Windham, for some reason on this night, decided to wear like really short jean shorts. I'd never seen him do it before, and I've never seen him do it afterwards. She was like, "That guy's shorts are way too short." I was like, "I agree." And then the match was over, and him and Kurt were leaving, and Barry, like, he didn't have like long hair, but he still had it was like a short bob type
Yeah.
haircut. And he was leaving, and he was like, "Grr," I looked at the camera, and she was like, "He looks like that guy from Dumb and Dumber."
Jeff Daniels.
Yeah. She was, I was like, you know what? I think kind of right. Like, I never noticed it, but I'm like, Barry Windham, when he had that haircut, it kind of looked like, I can't remember which one he was on Dumb and Dumber, but I'm like, yeah, he does look like Jeff Daniels from Dumb and Dumber.
What? Just because what I'm watching right now is I'm watching Superstars '87, and you just made me think about it. But they gets to the point where Tom Zank leaves, right? And so the Can-Am, and they actually acknowledge it. They actually acknowledge that they pretty much are like, they don't say Zank's name anymore, but they even have Rick Martel be like, "My partner left because he couldn't handle the competition in the WWF."
Yeah, I remember that.
But then there's the finally they do a couple of weeks where like the Islanders are just targeting Martel as a singles because his partner ditched out on him, and obviously we're getting to Strike Force. So on the final straw episode where the Islanders are beating up Martel and Tito comes out to help, it's funny because when the Islanders and Heenan are begging off, Tama's out in the crowd or out in the aisle, and Tama's like Yoko, where when he talks like he talks kind of jive.
Yeah.
Tama's like, "Whoa, oh, we gonna get you, you dirty Mexican. We gonna get you." And it's just funny because the Islander is like, "We gonna get you, you dirty Mexican." All right. The Mecca, Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yes.
Well, I'll talk about it more at the end of the show, but this was probably I didn't really dig this clash very much. But anyway, the opening, the Mecca, Tony Schiavone opens the show. He's with Director of Wrestling Operations for World Championship Wrestling, one of the longest titles in wrestling history. Bill Watts talks about wrestling in Milwaukee, the great legends, and of course, how he and the Crusher tag teamed up.
Yeah.
And this tag team the cage match that's the main event of the show. Tell me if you think I'm wrong or whatever. Man, they take a long way to get to what the match eventually winds up being like.
Yeah.
There's a long way. It's a long way to go and a short time to get there.
Yeah, they did. They did.
They did like 6 weeks worth of TV in one
That's what I was
night.
saying. I just said I was gonna say they did 3 months worth of booking in an hour and a half.
But yeah, I actually wrote that down on my notes about that song. I was like, that's making me think of that song. And we got a long way to go, but a short time
Eastbound
to
and
get there.
down.
Yeah.
Wow, it's just like we gotta get this Coors. It's 10 o'clock, brother.
But yes, he talks about how Van Hammer's out, he's injured. So Vinny Vegas is going to be arm wrestling in his place tonight. And I think Van Hammer was supposed to be in the main event as well.
He was supposed to be in the cage match, so he's out.
And Eric Watts is suspended.
Yes.
Because of an incident with Arn Anderson.
Yes, which they do show later on Saturday night, and it was I don't know if you remember the
is it the thing where they get in a fight in the parking lot or whatever?
They get it's actually kind of cool because Eric Watts is like getting gas. And
that's what it is, the gas station. I remembered it was like an outdoor angle of some sort.
And it was actually kind of cool because like WCW wasn't like, we were following Eric Watts. They were like, this is not our footage. This is footage from fans that gave it to us. And like these parents were at the gas station and the dad had like a camcorder or whatever. And this girl was like, there's Eric Watts. So like the dad was like videotaping this girl meeting Eric Watts, and like Arn Anderson was driving through town too because like the show was going to be in this local market or whatever, and saw Eric Watts at the gas station and like attacked him. So it wasn't like, oh, our cameras just so happened to be here. Like it wasn't like it wasn't a shitty angle. But anyway, but Eric Watts got suspended for one night because he got arrested because there was an altercation at a gas station. So he can't work. Well, he can't work, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. And then Larry Zbyszko interviews Eric Watts, and Eric Watts, the way this interview should have went essentially is it should have started with Larry Zbyszko going, you had a confrontation with Arn Anderson, Eric, and you've been suspended for the night. And Eric going, yep. Because that's kind of how this interview was. Eric stutters. I put Eric stutters and stammers through a shitty interview.
And Larry gives him no help at all.
Nothing.
He just stares at him. And then goes, all right, back to you guys. So
Eric stutters through an interview. Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura are on play-by-play for the night. As a matter of fact, just so it's out there, I think by the next Clash of the Champions we do, Jim Ross is going to be gone. Because I think
he's at Mania by April.
Yes, because there's not another Clash, I don't think, until June. He does Super Brawl, and then he's gone off to the WWF. Because Bill Watts isn't long for the world here either. He's about to get shit canned about the whole thing we talked about last week on the show.
Yeah, he said racist stuff about chicken and then pissed off a balcony, and they're like, "We gotta
go." Man, I hate it when I get fired because of that. The first match on this show is Cactus Jack against Johnny B. Bad.
Which I think, if I remember right, they said was supposed to be Eric Watts, but since he's suspended for one night, they've replaced him with Johnny B. Bad.
Yeah, you might be right. I think you are right. Yes, because there was I'm sorry. Cactus Jack wins this thing pretty fast. It's pretty much just a match to put Jack over at this point.
Yeah, and I know it's going to happen later on and they're going to solidify it or whatever, but Jack's one of the first guys that, at least in WCW, that the fans turned. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you'd seen it in WWF.
Mm-hmm.
Like WWF, it was like,
Oh, I've literally just watched it happen because, like I said, I'm watching WWF '87. The fans turned Randy Savage into a babyface after WrestleMania 3.
like in WWF, it was like Randy, and I know it happened a lot later on in like the '90s, like in like or the late '90s or whatever. But like in the '80s in WWF, it was like Randy, Jake, Demolition. You know,
Mm-hmm.
trying to think if there was somebody else I was thinking of.
Well, they turned, and to go the opposite direction, the fans turned Honky Tonk Man heel because
Oh
they
yeah,
initially tried to push him as a face.
yeah. But like Cactus is one of the first guys of not NWA, you know, like just WCW, that it's like, somebody, and I'm assuming Bill Watts was like, we can't keep this guy a heel anymore. People are
Right.
chanting his fucking name, you know?
Mm-hmm. I didn't write much down about the match. I literally wrote Cactus wins this pretty quick. That was my only note.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
It's quick and painless.
Then we get Tony Schiavone telling us we have a new NWA World's Champion, and it is the Great Muta. And believe he mentions they're going to show us footage of that this upcoming Saturday on TBS on the Superstation.
From the Egg Dome.
From the Egg Dome. Everybody, here comes to go Scorpio. So the next thing is,
and that's what I put. I was like, Monique warns us that warns us of Two Cold Scorpios arrival.
Shelton Benjamin's mama.
Yeah.
Yes.
Is Monique excited about it, or is she trying to warn the children?
Well, she does say everybody look out.
Yeah, look out! Here comes Two Cold Scorpio, and then he just slam dunks on a fat kid. He just dunks on that fat kid. Like the fat kid looks like the kid from Kindergarten Cop. It's like boys have a penis and girls have a vagina.
I like it. My favorite kid on this whole thing, and if you've never seen the Two Cold Scorpio with the kids and the basketball court video, just go watch it. But my favorite kid is the one where Two Cold's like, man, you guys are supposed to be in school, and that one kid's like, we're gonna go to the video arcade. He's like, you're gonna play video games.
Yeah, so we're gonna go to arcade. I can't even remember what Two Cold calls it. He doesn't even call it the arcade.
I know he calls it like the video. I don't know what but I don't know what he says either. But it's not. He doesn't say like.
Yeah. He doesn't say arcade. I was like, I ain't going to that Nickelodeon or whatever. Like, what the fuck? And then they're like, are we gonna run? Nah. Are we gonna take our bikes? Nah. We're gonna ride your limo? Nah. We gonna step. And then Knot and Peppa show up and they start dancing with Too Cold and a little fat white kid. He's trying to keep up and it's not working out. This whole thing's a fucking clusterfuck. I don't know where Monique went, but then I did like the fact, I thought it was kind of cool that the music video like transitioned into Too Cold's entrance. It's like anytime Two Cold Scorpio's not talking, I'm totally into it. But the minute you have him start talking, I'm just like, this is bad. But this match is actually
we've talked about it on the plenty on Reliving the Extreme because there's a lot more Two Cold Scorpio promos on there. But yeah, Too Cold is definitely not even halfway decent promo, folks. Let's be honest. And I love Too Cold.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, just don't let him talk.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, shit. I was trying to see if I could. Tell me if you can hear
Find
this.
a Too Cold Scorpio promo.
You can hear it, right?
I can't hear anything.
Well, shit, that didn't work the way I wanted it to. Then never mind. I was
Sometimes
going to try
when
to
you
play
things
the.
just happen anyway.
It didn't work the way I wanted it to, but I just want to see what he called the video arcade.
Well,
So I was like, I can't remember what he said. But for some reason, my share screen thing isn't working properly. I think it might be the internet because it's running kind of slow. All right, now I think I've got it set up here. You should be able to hear it now, Aaron.
That's cool, man.
I just watched.
You can hear it.
Man, I know I can make it, but my hands too cold. Man, you can't make it.
Oh, okay.
That be late for school. Man, I can make it. Give me this ball. Man, you can't make it.
I love how the basketball goes just in the sky, the fucking.
I forgot the little
Like
kid
you said,
called
salt and pepper.
Not and pepper. He's gonna jam on the fat kid.
Man, that was too cold.
Ain't you kids supposed to be in school?
No, man, we going to the game room.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
he called the game room.
Yeah, the kid said the game room.
Yeah, the kid said the game. Now we go to the game room.
What do you mean the arcade?
What do you mean? It's like,
Too
no, the
cold.
game room.
Too Cold corrected him.
What you mean the arcade? He's like, not the game room. Playing dominoes, bitch.
That's what I was about to say. The game room sounds like they're gonna play billiards and
Yeah, we're playing bones, motherfucker.
Well, Too Cold Scorpio beat Scotty Flamingo.
Yeah. And I had a question because there wasn't much to the match. The match was actually pretty good. All right.
Yeah.
What is your favorite Scott Levy? I can tell you what my favorite Scott Levy is if you don't want to answer yet. Or if you guys
Go
think
ahead.
about it. My favorite Scott Levy is actually Johnny Polo.
I was gonna say I like Johnny Polo, and I like him in Memphis in '93. It's funny because in Memphis in '93 he does a thing where it's like him. It's funny. It's a kind of funny little group. I can't remember the manager guy's name, but the group is Scotty Flamingo or Scotty the Body. Yeah. And Brian Christopher and the Harlem Knights, who would soon become Men on a Mission.
Yeah.
But yeah, Scotty Flamingo, Brian Christopher, and Men on a Mission are this kind of like little like shitty heel foursome team. But I like that. And then I actually like Raven. You know that one of my favorite things is him and Zbyszko. I like Raven in like early TNA. Also.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
But yeah.
That was like Zbyszko, and I just really like Johnny Polo, and then I did actually like, and I wish WCW would have went further with it. I liked when they like had him go to like his mom's house.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that was like that was actually my favorite version of Raven. Was them like, oh, they put another layer to it. Where it's like, oh,
right,
this guy's been, I'm so abused. It's like, oh, turns out he's rich, you know. But like, I liked Johnny Polo as like, I actually liked him as like a commentator. Like would he be
With
with
Gorilla?
Monsoon?
Yeah.
Yeah. He has one of my favorite calls ever when fucking Yokozuna's wrestling. I can't even remember the guy's last name, but his first name was Davey, and he was like, "Yoko baby, stomp that Davey." Gorilla Monsoon was like, "What?"
What?
But
I'm just
anyway,
curious. But yeah, Too Cold defeats Scotty Flamingo. He's also not long for WCW. He's about to become Johnny Polo after WrestleMania 9 in the WWF with the Quebecers. Well, I guess
great act.
it's closer to the summer, but yeah, shortly after
Great
WrestleMania
act.
9.
Great act.
And then more of our long way to go, short time to get there deal.
Eastbound down.
Rick Rude is injured, so Paul Orndorff is going to be on Vader's team tonight in the Thunder Cage. And then they show us the footage of Cactus Jack versus Paul Orndorff from the recent television show to set up Orndorff being the partner.
Yeah, because whoever won this match is going to get to be involved or get to be the new member. Basically, Harley Race said, "I'm going to have these two guys fight. Whoever wins gets to be in Thunder Cage to replace Rick Rude." Sorry, I don't know. I don't know if you mentioned that. My audio cut out a little bit, but that's what Orndorff and Cactus were fighting for, was to see who was going to replace Rick Rude.
And the next match is Chris Benoit against Brad Armstrong. Yep, you heard me right, folks. It's Chris Benoit against Brad Armstrong. This
And
can't
I
be
was
bad.
super fucking happy. I was like, this is gonna be fucking awesome. And it was.
And it was.
Two of my favorite in-ring performers of all time. Ventura puts over Stu Hart's training regimen. He doesn't call it the dungeon, though. It's like he's trying to put it over, but he's like, you know how many people came out of Stu Hart's basement, Jim Ross? Stop calling it a basement. Call it the dungeon. Does sound kind of weird when you say Stu Hart took guys down into his basement and stretched them.
Yeah, he took guys into his basement and stretched them.
That's right. Yeah. That was probably terrifying. Hey there.
You're a strapping young lad.
Come down in my basement. You want some warm milk? Want some warm milk? I'm gonna give you some warm milk and distressed fruit.
Watch for the cats there. Yeah. I don't have a lot of. I didn't take many notes on the match just because I was watching it and just put down this is a fucking bomb ass great back and forth matchup between two great in ring performers.
One of my main notes was like Milwaukee's kind of a. It's tough nosed crowd, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Philly or like Chicago or New York, but these guys, I think these fans knew the majority. I don't want to say the majority, but there was the core group of fans that knew wrestling. You know what I mean? And those were the people that were like chanting for Cactus, you know, and like.
And Milwaukee, along with New York, along with Philadelphia, along with Chicago, and along with Los Angeles, is one of the wrestling capitals of the United States. So
yeah, so I'd say like probably like at the start of it, like 40% of this crowd was like, "This is gonna be a good match," you know. But when Benoit hit that springboard clothesline, that fucking woke the crowd up, and then they were like
Yeah.
super into it. And Benoit ends up hitting a full Nelson German suplex for the 1-2-3 and goes over. And like I said, it was just an awesome match, and I forgot about it honestly until I started watching the show, and I'm like, oh shit, this is that Benoit Armstrong match that I remember watching when I was whatever. And it's just really fucking good. And it's and I'm not gonna say it's even a stretch by saying it, but I think it's the best thing on the whole show.
It is. It is. I wrote that down too at the end. On my end notes,
Yeah.
the best match on the show, the best thing on the show was Armstrong and Benoit. After that, Tony Schiavone he talks about the Rock and Roll Express and one of the legendary tag teams of all time, and they've been doing their thing in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Smoky Mountain Wrestling, and we get Smoky Mountain Wrestling footage because they're doing the thing with Smoky Mountain with WCW, where the Rock and Rolls are going to face the Heavenly Bodies on their pay-per-view. And it's funny. Have you ever heard Cornette tell the story about after Watts got fired?
I don't know if I did or not.
So he worked out the deal with Watts to be able to have the Rock and Rolls on the show and everything, and because Watts wanted to get the Rock and Roll Express involved and wanted to get Cornette involved in the show. So they worked out this deal or whatever, like co-promotional thing, and Cornette got so much money for the appearances for the guys. You know, he got them a really good deal, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many thousands of dollars or whatever it was for, and then in writing how much, how much exposure they were going to get and all that shit. And then Bill Watts got fired. And then Cornette said Bill Watts got fired. And then Ole Anderson called him. And Corny's pretty much like, hello, Ole. And Ole Anderson said to Jim Cornette, I bet you got all this fucking shit in writing, didn't you? And he was like, yes, I did, Ole. So Ole had to honor, because Cornette's not a fucking idiot. And Ole knew that way.
Yeah.
Probably somebody above Ole was like, call Cornette and tell him we're not doing this shit. And Ole was probably like, yeah, I'm going to call him, but I bet he got it in writing.
Yeah. So you at least got 2 months left of me, bitch.
Yeah, but yeah, Ole knew before he made the phone call because he said, yeah, you got this shit in writing, didn't you? And Cornette said, you goddamn right I did. Anyway, I think that's a funny little anecdote. Like,
well,
like I said, it's the thing where Ole knew before he even made the phone call.
Well, I even heard funny on that is Bill Watts. Like WCW was like, we don't like this Bill Watts guy, or Turner was like, we don't like this Bill Watts guy or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, Bill Watts was like told like you're gonna have creative control, run this company, and then he got in there and it was all these suits telling him what to do, and he knew this shit wasn't gonna work out, and he was bringing in friends of his or people that he liked, and being like, sign this now, like sign it. Because I'm probably not gonna be long for this world. So get it on paper right now that I'm gonna, like, with this company, we're gonna pay you X amount of money, or you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he's like, I'm probably not gonna be here much longer. So if you sign this now, it's contractually obligated.
Get in where you fit in. Hit the
So
gravy
I'm
train while you can.
I'm sure he probably told Cornette that, and he's like, ah.
Yeah, Cornette was
He always
smart
liked
enough
Jim,
to do that anyway.
and Bill always liked Jim, so I'm sure he was probably just like, we're gonna sign this shit right fucking now.
The next thing on the show is the aforementioned arm wrestling contest. Jesse Ventura's arm wrestling tournament, the strong arm tournament, the strong hand tournament going on. It's going to be
man with the strong hand. I never liked the. I don't know. The arm wrestling thing always bored me in wrestling.
Yeah, the arm wrestling thing is, I don't know. I agree with you. It's the other thing about the arm wrestling thing in wrestling is it's always the same fucking angle.
Yeah.
I mean, this
The
one
heel
isn't.
turns the
I guess
table
I
over.
can say this one isn't. I can give them credit for that. They didn't do the, you know. But it's Tony Atlas and Vinny Vegas in an arm wrestling contest, and Tony Atlas says he'll do it left-handed.
Yeah. I don't know. It's boring.
It's definitely a Bill Watts, Vince McMahon kind of thing. It's I did the only thing I wrote down about it was other than what happens at the end and that's left-handed. I did think it's funny, like Tony Atlas put his arm up and Vinny Vegas put his arm up and they were about to clutch hands and Tony Atlas like, "You gonna die, boy!" Like, damn, it's just arm wrestling. You gonna kill the man?
So the fuck down.
But yeah, Vinny Vegas actually wins without chicanery. That's what I said. At least I give him credit for the fact that they made it. They didn't go over the top. They didn't turn the table over. Nobody got cracked with the stool or whatever. Vinny Vegas just won the arm wrestling contest.
Yeah. It was dumb.
Guess what?
What?
Recurring theme of the evening. Vinny Vegas is also not long for the world of WCW, because he is also about to head to the WWF to be Shawn Michaels' bodyguard and wear frosted denim from head to toe.
Yes, and one of the best ways to ever quit a company.
Yeah, I think
I don't think this is working out. I'm just gonna go home. As he was like faxing his information to the WWF.
Yeah. The next thing on the show, and I actually have a question about this one for you.
Yeah.
The next match is Tom Zenk and Johnny Gunn, sincerely, against the Wrecking Crew, which I know one of them is Al Green, and I don't remember the other guy's name, but it's the Wrecking Crew, and as the Wrecking Crew, their name is Rage and Fury. This is an awkward match. There's lots of missed spots. It's pretty crappy, my opinion. But my question for you was the way that this match went, because the Wrecking Crew goes over. The intention is to make them look strong. Jim Ross and Jesse put them over on commentary. Do you think Bill Watts intended to use these guys? Like, give them a push?
The weird thing about WCW was like Bill Watts was there, but so was Dusty. And it was one of them intended on doing it. And,
yeah, because these guys, it wasn't like like we see shit like the Master Blasters and what was that other team called? I don't know, the Masters of Mayhem or what. You see so many of these teams that they just cycle in and out of WCW to like get beat up by the Steiners or whatever. But this team, it actually looked like they were trying to give them, you know what I mean? It looked like they were trying to give them a push.
Yeah. And Fury, and this probably, like I said, had something to do with it. Fury was Animal's brother.
Oh shit, yeah. Terminator, right? He wrestled as Terminator. Now that you say that, yes. Yeah, I did not even put that shit together. Because like I said, I knew the one dude was Al Green.
Yeah, and
once you said it, it clicked in my head.
But the Wrecking Crew sucked. It was a shitty team.
Yes.
But
like I said, this isn't
this isn't the only attempt either, because I don't know if there's another Clash, or it might have been something else I watched where there's a couple other times where they try to get these Wrecking Crew guys over. It's just like this ain't working. My
but yeah,
question,
oh, sure.
my question was Johnny Gunn, yay or nay?
Let me say this. I think of Johnny Gunn as a slight yay in this respect. I look at Johnny Gunn like I look at Paul Roma and Jim Powers, as he is a guy that has a place on the card as the bohunk. You know what I'm saying? Like the
Yeah.
tan guy with a mullet that the girls scream for. Like, do I think Johnny Gunn needs a title around his waist? No, he's not that guy, but he's a Jim Powers. You know, he's useful on a wrestling card, and he wasn't a shitty worker.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I remember right when I looked it up, he like debuted in like '85 or something like that. But like, so obviously he wasn't gonna wind up in the WWF at that point, you know. But like, if that guy, I think would have got like to WWF in like '87, I think it would have been totally different for him, you know.
Yeah. Like I said, and again, like he's a Roma or Jim Powers type guy. He's not a bad worker, but he's not burning the house down. He's not a main event guy. Everybody isn't a main event wrestler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And actually, I think I like him more than I like Jim Powers.
Oh, definitely.
And Jim Powers didn't suck either. Jim Powers served his purpose. I don't mind the Young Stallions as a tag team. I actually am kind of a Paul Roma fan. The only time I don't like Paul Roma is I don't like the fact that they made him a horseman. Other than that, I like Paul Roma. You know what I mean?
Nobody likes the only person that liked that they made him a horseman was Paul Roma, and he doesn't really like it.
We'll talk about him and we'll talk about Roma in future episodes because he's going to be on a couple of Clash of the Champions. But yes, I say a slight yay, slight thumbs up for Johnny Gunn. I'm not going to hate. Like I said, I'm not going to like sit down and make a mixtape of Johnny Gunn matches. But if he's on, I'm not going to fast forward probably.
All right.
The next thing on the show, Larry Zbyszko does an interview with Brian Pillman and Steve Austin, who are not at this point yet called the Hollywood Blondes.
Nope. Steve, I don't even think has knee pads yet.
I don't believe so. I think you're right. I don't think he does. He has cut the hair, which he's done that recently. I don't remember. Actually, I don't remember in my brain. I don't remember in my brain now. Thinking about it. Did they have the jean jackets yet on this show?
No, this is right around that time where like when you watch like there's that DVD put out or whatever. I can't remember if like the first time he talked about it on like WWF or WWE or whatever. Because WWE produced stuff isn't ever really shoot interviews. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh, I know, and I
Like
know
when-
what DVD.
like-
I have the DVD.
I think
you're
I
talking about.
can't remember. I can't remember if that was the Stone Cold Truth DVD or the Pillman one that came out first or whatever. But he talks about where he thought he was going to be getting the singles push, and he shows up, and Pillman walked up to him and was like, "We're going to have to think of a team name, man." And he's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, they're going to put us together. They're going to push us to the moon." And he's like pissed off about it, and he's like, "And Brian's in there, and he's got his Cincinnati Bengal tights, and I got my shitty whatever tight." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
like this is them being just. That's where I was trying to say, where it's like this WCW is not convoluted, but you're kind of it's kind of confusing because Bill Watts is like in charge of like wrestling operations and contracts and whatnot, but Dusty's still kind of the booker.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a weird whatever.
Oh, we have
But
WCW, and this and for good or for bad, and a lot of it is going to be bad, and a lot of it we're going to shit on for sure. But probably from when Jim, God, I hate to say this, but from when Jim Herd is let go until Hulk Hogan arrives, WCW is a company that does not fucking know what it wants to be.
it's the most fun.
I mean, no, I'm not. No, and like I said, this clash, I learned from this clash. Spoiler alert for the end. We're almost there. I learned from this clash that, and I have all the Saturday nights from this time. I could go back and watch them, but just watching the couple of clashes, the few clashes that he's booked, I'm not a big fan of Bill Watts' version of WCW. I don't know. There's some good stuff, but it's also kind of a fucking mess. I mean, honestly,
And like I said, it's because I don't think it's because it's completely one person's vision. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because Dusty's still in there and Bill Watts is in there.
That's one of those things they always say about Vince McMahon. The one thing you can say about Vince is, the product that you are watching on television is Vince's product.
Yeah, one guy should be the last guy to make
no matter how many people are in the room, the approved whatever's going out for 2 hours on fucking Monday night is all approved by Vince McMahon before it goes on the air.
Like, I just saw a thing, I didn't listen to it, but like, and I don't want to get too much into it, but like Matt Hardy was talking about when him and Edge had their first match after like the whole Rita thing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Matt said that Vince McMahon brought both of them into his office, and Matt said him and Adam were like cool with each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like it kind of blown over. We weren't best friends, but it was what it was. You know, but Vince brought him in there, and he said, like. He said, like, I own this company, right? And they're like, yeah. Like, so he's like, so this is my company. And they're like, yeah. He goes, like, I've rented this arena. So basically it's my arena right now, right? Yes, so we know that. And it's like, that ring you're about to go into, like, I own that ring, so that's my ring. Like, yeah. And he's just like going over all this stuff, And he goes, so essentially what I'm telling you is I'm the most powerful, influential man in this business. And if either one of you go out there and take liberties with each other in this match, neither one of you will ever work in this business again. They're like, we completely understand, sir. It's like there needs to be that guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like,
yep.
Like, do what we want, do what I want you to do. That's that. I'm the buck stops here. And that never existed. The only time that existed in WCW was their most flourishing time when it was kind of Eric, But I'm not even saying he was the greatest guy ever. But that's when it was at least somewhat not fucked up. It kind of got fucked up when he got to the main event because Hogan, and I'm not knocking Hogan. But you get what I'm saying?
there was that brief period. Let's say the 83 weeks time. Okay. The time where they were on top, kicking Vince's butt, blah, blah, blah. Let's say not even the 83 weeks. Let's say 60 of the 83 weeks. There was a time where even though you had all the massive egos that were hard to control and all the guaranteed contracts and all the fucking creative controls and blah, 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 there was a time where everybody was making so much fucking money, everybody was willing to do whatever they were told because they were making so much fucking money.
Yeah.
But then once the egos and shit took over, and Bischoff just didn't have the capacity. Vince McMahon would have stifled that shit long before it became a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Because Vince McMahon would have looked at the Kevin Nash and be like, you don't want to do that? Let's go up fucking back and talk about it, motherfucker. You know, and say what you want to say about him, but Vince would have fought a motherfucker in the parking lot.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
Vince
it
would
was
have been
mission.
like, I will take you off TV till the end of your contract. I don't fucking care.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
It's
can
like I
sit at
said,
home.
he told those guys, you don't do what I want you to fucking do, you'll never work again. But anyway, I don't know how we got into that.
Tony Schiavone, we got into that because the jumbled mess of the booking. Tony Schiavone now is in mid-ring after the Austin Pillman interview. He interviews Sting. Sting's out to talk about the Thunder Cage. Again, the whole thing's kind of, what's the fucking actual match? Dustin Rhodes and Ron Simmons come out because they're going to be Sting's team. Excuse me.
Well, right now the match is Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and Ron Simmons
For all of you keeping score.
versus the match right now is Sting, Dustin Rhodes, and Ron Simmons versus Barry Windham, Paul Orndorff, Vader, and the Barbarian. That's the match right now.
What are the reasons I love Jesse Ventura? I watching these superstars from '87 that I'm watching. I love his Okay, so sorry, but this actually relates to what's going to happen here. I'm actually not in the weeds on this because of Jesse's honesty and sarcasm, which is why he's so great. Like the commentary team for the shows in '87 is Vince, Jesse, and Bruno, right?
Yeah.
During the matches, very rarely does Bruno contribute anything, even though the closest Bruno ever got to swearing on TV was on a Superstars, because they do that whole thing with Billy Graham making his comeback, which gets cut short because of the injury, and they have to do the whole injury angle and blah, 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 and work Morocco into it, but whatever. It's funny when he makes his comeback, because he makes his comeback. He's got the whole thing going on with Butch Reed. He beats some jobber, and Vince McMahon goes, I'll get back to Jesse in a minute, but this made me think of Bruno. Vince McMahon goes, Billy Graham, after all, with the injury and the surgery, how awesome did he? I was surprised by his performance tonight. And Bruno Sammartino goes, Christ, Vince, look at him. Because he's so in shape. But it's like that's the closest. Saying Christ is like the closest Bruno got to swearing. He's like, Christ, Vince, look at him. But anyway, it's funny because he contributes next to fucking nothing most of the time. Like Vince and Jesse do most of the commentary, and then Bruno only really talks during the replay.
Yeah.
And there will be times where Jesse will be like, the match will be over, the replay starts, and Jesse will be like, okay, Bruno, it's your turn, or something like that. I don't know. It's just funny because he's such a fucking wise ass. It's great. But he's a wise ass on this show. Because the next thing we have after the Sting interview is Larry Zbyszko with Vader's team. And Harley Race goes on a tirade about Cactus Jack. And then out of nowhere, he says, and we don't want to know anybody that's even associated with Cactus Jack, even though 2 weeks ago, everybody here was associated with Cactus Jack.
Yeah, but you forget he hit him with a shovel during the Vader Paul Orndorff debacle.
No, I'm talking about Barbarian.
Yeah. That's why they want to beat up Barbarian, because Barbarian's hanging out with Cage Jack.
All right. Well, anyway, Harley fires Barbarian. Paul Orndorff gives him a pile driver. I love Barbarian's like, what? Fired. Like it's all very kind of odd, awkward little anyway.
Yeah, it's
He is
yeah.
but I love that Jesse's like, I don't understand why you wouldn't fire him after the match. Like you had
Yeah.
you had an
Yeah.
advantage. Why? And he makes fucking
Point-
sense. Like, I don't get
like,
it. Why'd
stop-
you do that?
Stop pointing out logic, Jesse.
I do. I just
It
love how he
also-
was like. he's like,
it
"I
also
don't
shows, like,
understand."
with Barbarian not understanding, like not catching on quick about getting fired. It's kind of like when Crush, he was kind of
Yeah. What?
late in the game when he got fired. Apparently, Island people can't figure out real quick why they're getting fired or when they're getting fired.
Yeah, I just like Jesse. Like that was terrible timing, Harley Race. you should have beat him up after the match.
Yeah,
you know, like you
win
fire,
or
you
lose.
know, like in retail,
Win
you
or
don't
lose,
fire
you
the
can-
you don't fire the person till the end of their shift.
Yeah. I have to unload a truck, and I've had guys be like, this guy's pointed out, be like, hey, whoa, let's wait till the truck's unloaded. Be like, what? Be like, I don't want to unload the truck.
Right. Yes.
Let
I
him
will
do it.
fire him today. I will fire him at 2 p.m. when he is to clock out.
I'm even going to give him a cup of waters and maybe a candy bar. It's gonna be like, oh, thanks, man. Like, all right, I need to.
Shit.
All right, come in here, Terrence. I need to talk to you.
Good,
man.
I was gonna say, good job on the truck, Terry. Can you come on in and have a little chat
Yeah.
here for just a second?
So if you
Oh,
give him
God.
that last meal.
Did you enjoy your Heath bar?
I did. Thank you. It's the
You can
last
toughy
thing you're
your
gonna have
ass
to
out of
do.
here. Shit. But anyway, yes, the Harley Race with an ill-timed firing of the Barbarian. They show us highlights from Super Brawl 1 and Super Brawl 2 because Super Brawl 3 is on the horizon. And then Larry Zbyszko interviews Rick Steamboat and Shane Douglas, the current unified tag team champions. And my question, and I wonder, I thought to myself when I wrote this down, did I ask this question on a previous episode? And I don't know if I did, or maybe we just had a discussion about it. Do you prefer Steamboat and Douglas or Steamboat and Dustin?
We didn't talk about particularly that. I actually like Steamboat and Douglas. I think they're a really good team.
I do too. And
And-
actually, to be honest with you, wrestling wise, I mean, obviously some of the franchise promos are good shit until he gets a little over the top with it later on in ECW. But wrestling wise, my favorite in ring period of Douglas's career is when he's teaming with Steamboat.
And I didn't put that about Shane, even though I somewhat agree with it. I'm a big Ricky Steamboat fan. Okay.
Mhm.
Like, I don't find any holes in his game, and I like all his runs and everything. But me personally, I think if I'm gonna sit and watch like a run of somebody's career, my favorite Ricky Steamboat time frame is Ricky Steamboat 1991 and 1994. That's my favorite part of his career.
Mhm.
Like him teaming with, like, when he comes in and he's teaming with Dustin, and then he teams with Shane, and then he moves into like the singles run and fights Steve and all that. It was like, I think there's that shit in there. There's just a lot, like his feud with Rude.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is my favorite Ricky Steamboat, in my opinion.
No, I agree. The I'll have to lend it to you sometime. I at one point in time bought the Mid-Atlantic tapes from Jim Cornette. For those of you that don't know, Jim Cornette, there was a time when Turner purchased WCW or purchased Crockett Promotions, there was Jim Cornette literally found outside of wherever the studio was a bunch of Mid-Atlantic tapes on the side of the road that they were just going to let go to the fucking dump.
Yeah, I remember.
Talk
about it.
Stuff from the 70s and the early 80s. Well, he took those tapes to his house so they would not be lost to history, and he eventually had them converted over to DVD. And I think it's like 17 or 18 DVDs. And I bought those from him. I don't know if he still sells them or not, but at one point you could buy them from him for like $100. And I was like, fuck yeah, I love to see shit that's like, you know what I mean? Like I love to see shit that, like, I want to see gorgeous. How much footage of Gorgeous George is there? I want to see as much as I can because I like history. Anyway, there's, and this just, I'm in the weeds, but it's because you talking about Steamboat. I've got to lend these to you sometime because there is so much like 70s Ricky Steamboat in there that I think would blow your fucking mind.
Oh, I understand that. And
And I know we were talking about favorite runs and everything, and that's fine because
I'm not even saying.
I agree.
I'm
I
not
agree
even
with
saying.
you. I
I'm
agree
not
with
even
you, but
saying
I just
like the
just
work.
made
I'm
me.
just saying that's the
No, I agree.
meat of it. You know.
That just no, and those are my. I agree with you on Steamboat. We're actually in perfect agreement on when we like watching him the best. But it just made me think of, oh man, you would love to see some of this shit. So at some point, I'll have to lend these to you so you can watch it.
He's one of the fucking greatest to ever do it, man.
Mm-hmm. There might even be. I'd have to go back because I haven't watched it in a while. I think there might even be because some of it's like they don't have all of it. You know what I mean? Like it'll be like what they were taping for like a highlight reel or whatever on TV.
Yeah.
But I think there's some footage of those Ricky Steamboat Ric Flair matches from the 70s in there.
Yeah.
But anyway.
But Flair said that guy Steamboat used to watch boxing matches. Not just because he liked watching boxing, but like Flair was like, "Why do you watch those?" He's like, "I like to see how somebody gets hit, like legitimately gets hit, and how their body moves."
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Make it look as real as fucking possible.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons that I say of the 20 years of the modern era of wrestling, that's why I say Randy Orton's the best.
Yep.
Randy Orton watch Randy Orton sell. Watch Randy Orton versus Shawn Michaels in their feud in 2007. And the way that they sell for each other. And it's a master class in selling. It's a master class in like realistic wrestling psychology. Like the way Randy Orton sells a super kick is fucking nuts. It's so good. It's like that's actually how a super kick would make you look.
He just crumples.
It's so fucking good. And same with Shawn Michaels in an RKO. You know, God, it's so fucking good. But anyway, our match we have here again is Shane Douglas and Ricky Steamboat defending the tag team championships against Steve Austin and Brian Pillman, who I mentioned are not yet the Hollywood Blondes, but are definitely on their way. And This is a really good match. Again, I still think Benoit and Armstrong's better. This isn't a terrible tag team match.
Better match. This is the only other good thing in the show.
Yeah. And they do the good. I mean, this is like textbook 101 tag team wrestling. You know, Steamboat's in most of the time, getting punished, working toward the hot tag to Douglas.
Yeah. I mean, it like I said, I how do I say it? Like, I knew, not remembering a lot about this show. I knew there wasn't gonna. It kind of telegraphed it. Like, I knew there wasn't gonna be a winner
Mm-hmm.
because they did one thing, and then I looked at the time, and I'm like, it's not gonna work. Is when they were like, oh, it's an abbreviated time, because like usually this would be an hour-long match.
Yeah.
Because of TV, it's going to be 30 minutes. And I like looked at the timer. I'm like, there's no way they're going to do a 30-minute match. So I knew there was going to be some kind of convoluted
Chicanery.
finish in it.
Some kind of chicanery.
Yeah. And then I just kind of started remembering about the feud, and I'm like, yeah, I know this isn't a change. This isn't a title change, but it was what it was. It was a good match, and these guys have probably one of the best tag team, if not the best tag team feud of '93, in my opinion.
I'd agree with that. Because, to be honest with you,
It's like them and the Head Shrinkers and the Steiners. And they were probably having the best tag team matches in '93.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Because the WWF, well, WCW, other than the top teams, is pretty weak, and then WWF's tag division is pretty weak in '93. Even though the Steiners are on top, the division itself is pretty weak.
Yeah,
the Steiners do some fun stuff with the Quebecers at the end
that's
of the
what I
year.
said. I was going to say the Beckers and the Steiners have a good run too, but
no, definitely this is peak tag team wrestling in '93, no doubt.
Yeah, other than this, we're getting fucking the Bushwhackers. I'm not knocking the Bushwhackers.
I mentioned the Men on a Mission earlier. They come in '93.
Yeah.
The Smoking Guns, very young Smoking Guns. Money Inc., who IRS and Ted DiBiase are both good wrestlers, and it's an iconic tag team. But if you look at their actual run as tag team champions, even though it's kind of legendary because they were a focal point of the show, they do a lot of bullshit finishes and the fucking walking out, and I don't know. But yeah,
and I wasn't ever a big fan of them and the Natural Disasters. Those teams didn't work for me.
No, I agree.
Against each other. Separately, they're fine tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
Together, I had no interest in watching it.
All right, so up next, Jesse Ventura is in the ring, and he is discussing Vader becoming the world's champion at the expense of Ron Simmons, who we have said on the show, and I think everybody that's been, you, myself, and Mark Brew, who's been on a couple of these Clash shows, have all agreed that even though he was the world champion, Ron Simmons was never the focal point of the company. It's a damn shame.
Yes.
But now Vader is the champion. Jesse Ventura introduces Big Van Vader and Harley Race. They come out, do an interview. Ron Simmons comes out because he's still going to be a challenger for the championship.
He's also supposed to be in Thunder Cage. But guess what happens? He gets beat up, taken out, and he's no longer in Thunder Cage.
Yes. Long way to
Which-
go, short time to get there again.
Which Jim Ross accidentally says, with the beating that Ron Simmons just took, I don't think he's going to be in Vader Cage.
I didn't even catch that.
And he goes, Thunder Cage. And then it goes commercial.
Vader
Called it Vader
Cage.
Cage. I think he meant to say, like, with the beating that Ron Simmons just took from Vader, he's not going to be in Thunder Cage. But he said, with the beating Ron Simmons just took, he's not going to be in Vader Cage. Kind of like when he called it the Evolution Chamber.
And then we have the Thunder Cage, which I think is. I think I always thought the Thunder Cage was ugly. I don't know. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just ugly. It's an ugly cage.
It is. It is what it is. But if you look at hindsight and look what happened later on, it was pretty. I don't want to say progressive, but we got Hell in a Cell. You know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
a little ahead of its time. It was a concept that was. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And didn't it?
Like it
correct
allowed
me
the
if-
guy. It allowed you to. It should have been 8 people. We got it down to 5. But imagine trying to put 8 people in a cage that was butted up against the ring. It wasn't going to work. But
Yeah. And you're right. And because you have 8 people in war games, but you also have 2 rings.
Yeah.
So it's, you don't have, like you were saying, you don't have like the, what do you want to say, the bunching up. If you put 8 guys in one cage, it's going to be pretty bunched up. So
Yeah.
like you said, having it go out around the ring as well. It was the first time correct me if I'm wrong, the first time they used that the actual Thunder Cage was the shit where Abby got electrocuted in the Halloween Havoc thing, right? Was that the first time they used that cage?
Was that before or after Muda, Funk, Flair, Sting?
Okay, you're right. That's the first one. I stand corrected because they used the Thunder Cage, but they called it the House of Horrors or whatever with the electric chair deal. WCW, everybody. But yes, now that we have done the trigonometry, the calculus of everything, adding, subtracting, dividing, and multiplying, our final main event, so we think, we're not even done with this equation yet, is Vader, Orndorff, and Wyndham versus Sting and Dustin in the Thunder Cage.
Yes.
But we still have some addition to do.
Yeah. Because as the match is going on, Cactus Jack, who wasn't even supposed to be in the match, arrives and cuts the lock off of the Thunder Cage and ends up beating up all the heels with his boot, and then hits Paul Orndorff with his boot and gets the 1, 2, 3, and the winners of the match are Dustin Rhodes, Sting, and Cactus Jack. And Cactus Jack was not even supposed to be in the match. It's crazy.
It's crazy. And then Jim Ross interviews Cactus. He talks about Vader and Orndorff after the match. And then I put down another crazy. This is actually one of the craziest closing shots in pro wrestling history. You have Jim Ross with his pumpkin head. You have Jesse Ventura pretty much dressed in red and white leather from head to toe. And behind them is Cactus Jack hanging on the cage, shaking it and screaming as they do this odd wide shot as Jim Ross and Jesse Ventura sign off. I was like, this is a crazy exit to a wrestling show. It's just like, wow, there's a lot going on, but nothing going on here.
Yeah. In an hour and a half, this show started as something and ended as something completely different.
That's funny that you said that, because I was going to say, John Cleese showed up at the end of the show and said, now for something completely different.
Completely different, yeah.
It was a wild one, but not one that I was particularly fond of. I think we always do the step forward, static, or step back. I think this clash actually took a step back from the last one. And out of the 20, what is this, 22? 22?
Yeah.
22. Out of the 22 clashes we have reviewed so far, this is actually one of my least favorite. I wasn't a big fan of this show.
Yeah, I didn't like it either.
Kind of a clusterfuck.
It was a wet fart. Like, oh, I gotta get up and leave. That's what this was.
Well, that was that for Clash of the Champions 22. Next week, we will be doing Clash 23, which takes place on June 16th, 1993, at the Scope, which is actually one of my favorite, aesthetically, one of my favorite wrestling arenas. I like the Scope. I always like the Scope. I like wrestling arenas. I like arenas, I guess, of a wrestling show where it comes on and you know what building you're in.
Yeah.
And the
It's the Scope, or it's the Kobo, or it's Madison
it's
Square
the Garden. Yeah, it's the Garden.
Yeah. It's the Joe Louis. Yeah.
That being said, anything else you want to throw out there this week before we sign off?
Not really.
Well, like I said, we mentioned a lot of people from WCW are heading over to the WWF after this show. Bill Watts will be gone by the next time we do a show. Some people are coming to WCW. I think by the next time Ric Flair is going to be back. Yes. Because after this show, let's see, this is the 13th of January. This might actually even be.
He's already gone.
He's not gone. He's not gone.
Well, he's gone from TV.
Because I don't know what the date of the Ric Flair. I can't remember off the top of my head what the date of the Ric Flair Kurt Hennig retirement match is on Raw. But it's in January because it's after the Rumble. So no, he's not actually gone yet. But Ric Flair is very soon to be gone for the WWF, back to WCW. I think by the time we get to the next show, Davey Boy's in WCW. Sid might be back. So, and of course, like I said, Watts is gone. Vinny Vegas is gone. Scotty Flamingo's gone. Jim Ross is gone. So we're about to see a transition in the next show. By the next show, I'm pretty sure Steve Williams, well, that is his legal name. Steve Austin and Brian Pillman are the Hollywood Blondes. But yeah, like I said, this show kind of a popcorn fart. Yeah, we will head on through 1993. Luckily, I'm pretty sure in 93 we're going to get to see the Shockmaster debut.
Yep.
On
We
a
will.
Clash of the Champions. Fell on his fucking arse. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time around. Like I always say at the end of the show, join us on YouTube, the WNR Podcast Network for We Can't Wrestle and Reliving the Extreme. Join us on Facebook, our Facebook group, the WNR Podcast WNR Podcast Network on Facebook. Send me or any of us an invite to get in. We will let you in, and we'll see you next time around for Clash of the Champions 23 on the We Can't Wrestle podcast.